Hey everybody, it's Suzanne. What we're going to be exploring now is the Lightyear principle, align always. So that podcast, that principle is spelled align, one word, all, A-L-L, ways, W-A-Y-S. And it actually also means align many different ways. And it means align all the time because stuff is so dynamic. So I want you to really take a couple notes while you listen to this, come up with some questions for me and apply it. And then I'm going to be, as we go through time, talking to you more about ways you can apply this both to your work life and your personal life. Thank you. Have fun.
This is Suzanne Conrad from Lightyear Leadership, sharing with you the principle, align all ways. Alignment these days is a pretty big deal. I hear it a lot in corporate culture. I hear it inside families. Well, we need to get aligned on that. Let's create alignment around our strategic plan. Oh, I'm unaligned with his perspective. So let's distinguish this as a word and as a practice. So as a word, it really means to create a geometry between people and a frequency of communication that gives whatever the collective project that they are participating in together the highest probability and possibility of success. When we say align all ways, that's actually three words. Align all, A-L-L, and ways, W-A-Y-S. That's because there's a 360-degree quality to alignment when it's happening in a dynamic environment. We need to first be able to align with what's highest and best for ourselves and to connect with that universal source that is the voice of our intuition. And then we also ground so that we're centered and we're clear. So it begins first with the alignment of who we are with our exact coordinate and situation in the project or in the undertaking. Then we can align within, so up, down, and then in ourselves or in the group. And then out and around. Who are our cross-functional partners? Who are the vendors? Who are the other people that are affected by this or who are contributors in the project that we're creating alignment on? So along with this 360-degree alignment, I'd like to also share this idea of a 360-degree accountability. Often, to be able to have an alignment conversation, we need to be able to recognize that it's okay for us to talk to the person supposedly above us when they might have an accountability issue. If they aren't keeping their word as our manager or our boss, it's actually part of our responsibility to be able to let them know that and help restore accountability in that direction. Now, many people are afraid to do that. They're much more comfortable talking to someone that works for them to say, hey, here's what needs to happen. You weren't accountable in this arena. Or they even feel safer to talk to people at the sides, to their peers. Yet for us to really achieve 360-degree accountability, we would need to be able to have the communication competency to radiate to any role and let people know whether they're on or off the mark. That communication capacity translates into our ability to create alignment. We are never not aligning. It's our job as a leader to continually align people in all ways. It might be giving them a shared picture. It might mean having a display of the collective results. It might mean having a town hall meeting every month and having a teleconference every week. It might mean making room for them to have contribution of their own ideas. Maybe it's on a website. Maybe it's through some other kind of forum. But we're continually finding ways for them to align. They could be visual, verbal, physical, electronic. People could also align through meditation and through forms of the unspoken word. So it's our job also to employ storytelling to help create alignment. Tell a story of the little company that could, or whatever it is that you need to do. And if you're the person helping hold the vision, you also need to be the person promulgating the vision and the participation of that with all the people around you. And you do that by helping teach people how to align dynamically and how to be accountable to one another dynamically. Alignment does not equal agreement. We may find ourselves in situations where we have reached alignment, yet you or I might not personally agree with it, and we can then make a choice whether we're going to align with it and act on it. They aren't the same. So it means that we can, at that moment, suspend our disagreement and choose alignment. Or if for any reason that gap is too great, we cannot participate in that project, or we can remove ourselves from that team, or whatever it might be. Yet once we make the choice to align, then we are also releasing that everyone has to agree with us. Lower forms of agreement often bring people to a very mediocre place because untrained consensus decision-making will generally attract the lowest common denominator, while alignment will actually lift people to a higher level of performance greater than what they may have expected of themselves on their own. And this is because it's similar to a flock of birds where someone might emerge as the leader and cut the wind for the others, and the other folks can rest just a bit and then take their turn. It's the overall geometry that creates the breakthrough and the performance, and not necessarily the individual and their personal opinions. So choice-based non-action takes active energy. The act of aligning with oneself within and above and below and around with others takes energy, and it then can produce it. So in summary, I would say the most important thing to get out of this particular podcast is if you are in a fast-paced environment, a busy family, a growing company, a nonprofit that's out to really do big things in the world, just know this, that you might align once and go, okay, everybody's aligned, and then you go off to do your individual job, only to come back and find that there's been all this drift and things aren't the way you thought. That's because alignment does not happen once. Alignment happens all the time, and it's part of our responsibility, our ability to respond, to remain in dynamic alignment with other people and with ourselves, and in dynamic accountability. Now, lastly, what you want to be able to do is realize that it's very unlikely that anyone is ever going to tell you, you know what, you've over-communicated. You've talked to me too much about alignment. It's far more likely that we don't talk to each other enough, and then yet we're willing to pay the cost for all the excuses that we have for not raising the issue earlier. Oh, I thought you were busy. I didn't want to bother you. Or that's not my job. Or that's not your job. All of those typical phrases that take companies around the world to their lowest common denominator have no value in a culture that honors the principle of align all ways.